Coming up are my experiences of the World Money Fair held in Berlin last weekend. There were many treasures to discover and wonderful people to meet. Hello everyone and welcome to Sound Money Stacking. If you're new to my channel, I have plenty of informative videos for new and experienced stackers of precious metals, and I show off some beautiful collectible pieces too. The World Money Fair is certainly the epicentre of collectible bullion, where all of the world's mints come together to show off their creations. Held over 3 days, the fair attracted over 40,000 attendees. There were two main conference halls. One had often elaborate stands for the world's mints, and the other primarily focused on the machinery behind making the coins and bars that we love. Then there were several side halls and corridors which had stalls for bullion and numismatics traders. Getting there, I was joined by Nemo's Numismatics on an early morning flight from Scotland. We missed our flight to Berlin due to fog in Amsterdam, but the KLM app rebooked us with ease and they paid for lunch. We arrived at a very cold and very icy Berlin with temperatures touching -10 Celsius at times. I'm glad I brought my long johns and balaclava, I'm not joking. The city looked pretty with a dusting of snow, but the pavements were treacherous, and I'm getting a bit too old for cold weather to be honest. I stayed at the Melia in the city centre, which had a nice view over the River Spree, so I was very comfortable there. Day one of the World Money Fair was frantic. The goal for many is to get in as early as you can and rush to join the queue for the World Money Fair privy version of the Perth Mint Kookaburra coin. We got in quickly, scooted over to join the Perth Mint line. It's really silly what grown men do for their collections. We saw a few familiar faces while waiting in line, and we got a close look at the 10kg lunar horse coin. So here is the prize that everyone has rushed for, the 2026 Kookaburra World Money Fair edition. The privy features both the stop and go Ampelmann, or little traffic light men. These feature on the pedestrian traffic signals all across Germany. The hat-wearing figures are one of the few survivors of East German identity after the fall of the Iron Curtain, so they've acquired quite a cult status in Berlin and have become a popular tourist souvenir. The 2024 World Money Fair Kookaburra had a green Ampelmann, the 2025 was red Ampelmann, and 2026 has both of them set within hearts. So I purchased my noisy birds and a couple of special pieces from the Perth Mint, which I'll show off at another time. I then headed straight over to Germania Mint and I acquired a set of the gold and ruthenium gilded Norse goldbars. These are expensive, but they look amazing and they have a small mintage, and I'm sure they'll do well over time. These sold out very quickly. I decided against the Berlin 2-ounce antique bear as it was priced just a little bit too high for me for what it was. I spent some time looking around the Germania displays. I have got quite a few pieces from Germania and it never seems enough. They've got a distinctive design language and the quality is second to none. Their gilding and colorizing work is particularly superb. This 10-ounce gilded golden eagle is incredible in person, I really wish I had one. And the Yggdrasil set is just gorgeous when all together. Congratulations to anyone who has this set. I also spoke to staff about their new releases in 2026 and the supply chain difficulties that the mints are facing. Interesting to talk to them. I'm particularly looking forward to a new Germania beast. This time it's going to be the 8-legged horse Sleipnir, which will also be another infinity capsule coin set, and that comes out this autumn. The staff said it looks even more impressive than the other coins in the beast series, so that's got me excited for that. I then took my time to look at each of the exhibition stands in the fair, picking up some pieces along the way. Overall, I would say that day one is hectic. There are many thousands of collectors with plenty of money to spend. It was warm, it was noisy, and it felt like a Walmart on Black Friday at times. For day 2 we decided to skip the fair and go and explore Berlin, having never been there before. The highlight was a visit to the Samurai Museum. It seems such a random thing to find in Berlin, but I highly recommend a visit if you're interested in this aspect of Japanese culture. The stack collector was the one most keen to go, but nearly didn't make it, having fallen flat on his face after trying to slide down a patch of black ice. Watch this, everyone. Our slipping and sliding was worth it though. The exhibits are exceptional and the museum presented them in a contemporary and interesting way, and it's only heightened my desire to go and tour Japan. Focus then switched to coins again, as Zeus had hidden one of his World Money Fair Kookaburras in Berlin. The Zeus treasure hunt was underway and nobody had claimed it yet. New clues had been published on Stacker Social. As we were looking at these clues, Stack Collector then disappeared from the museum, left the group. I thought he'd run off for a cheeky head start, so I set off after him. I didn't find him, and I did get to the treasure site very quickly. Unfortunately, I was about 2 minutes too late. Congratulations to Marinate Big Man on his win, and many thanks to Zeus for the frosty fun. Day 3 at the World Money Fair was still busy, but far less hectic. There was more time to enjoy the exhibition stands and speak to CEOs and sales executives about their products and take part in some of the free activities. I do recommend at least 2 days to get most out of the fair. I minted 3 coins. The main one was from the minting experience, which is sponsored this year by the Tower Mint of London. You're given a Cooper nickel planchet and some finger condoms, and you go through a series of machines to mint your unique coin. The first stage puts edge lettering onto the coin, and it does this in a split second. It was so fast. Next was a ceramic bead bath that would polish the planchet to a mirror finish, but this step was skipped because it would take about 30 minutes. Next is the stamping with the upper and lower dies. The machine made 5 stamps to produce the World Money Fair and Tower Mint designs.
You can release your hands, yes. 5 stamps, yes. You take.
Next up was the application of a colour strip. The machine used cameras to precisely orientate the coin.
Okay, so it's rotating it. And here the head printing will happen. Yeah, you have your nicely printed coin. Amazing. Still a little fresh, the paint, so yeah. You get a chem slip here. Just a bit. Very nice.
And then the final step was laser etching of a unique serial number onto the coin. And here's the final result, my unique coin from the fair. There's also another modern machine that stamped small copper coins. My favourite probably was the manual Geiger press that is as old as me, and you swing a weighted bar to turn the press for yourself. And here's the lucky cloverleaf coin that I made. There were many cool machines on show. I wish I had more time to talk to each of these companies and understand how their machinery will improve the products that we all enjoy. The making of dies is particularly interesting. I enjoyed watching this machine translate the artist's design into a much smaller die. I think we all take for granted what's involved in minting and creating those premiums that we all like to moan about. Looking at the offerings from the mints, there's just too much to cover, to be honest. Everyone had pieces that I'd happily add to my collection. I noticed that mixed media is becoming increasingly popular. We're seeing more use of coloured glass and resin within complex coins. We're even seeing marbles being placed onto coins. Every mint is trying to get an edge, but at some point you have to ask, when are these still coins? I was struck by the Amenhotep and Nefertiti pieces from TNS Coin, the Tiffany glass coins by CIT, many pieces by Mint 21, especially the traditional Ukrainian designs, and the European Mint from Estonia had an impressive display, such as these Fabergé egg coins, which I have one of. I was also struck by the pieces by the Lithuanian Mint, who I'd not really focused on before. They actually manufacture for mints like TNS, CIT and Mint 21, and I really recommend you look at their Luna series coins. They're absolutely breathtaking in real life. Power Coin from Italy are trying a number of design styles. Their version of a bee on a honeycomb is particularly attractive, and their nostalgic coins like a Nokia phone, a Walkman cassette player are now joined by floppy disks, paper boats and paper planes. I spent plenty of time going through the traders' tables and picked up quite a few attractively priced Kookaburra privy coins to go into my collection, so I was very pleased about that. The Comex Super Slam in metals prices happened during the show. I saw very little impact on prices in the halls from mints or traders, and it's clear that the futures and spot prices have become quite disconnected from reality, as demand for physical silver in particular is intense both at the mints and in the retail bullion market. I met up with many incredible people at the fair off camera. I got to spend time with brilliant members of Stacker Social like the Stack Collector, Zeus, Nemo's Numismatics, CY Sterling, Silverstag Stacker, and our local guide Treadle. I also spent time with the brilliant creators Backyard Bullion and Bald Guide Money, dealers like the legend that is Cobra Stacker, Eric Roach from Summit Metals in the US, and Michael from Bullion Now in Australia. I had great conversations with all of them. Parker from Sigma Metalytics and James from the UK distributor of the Sigma Verifiers Trusted Metrics were wonderful people. I really want to work with them more in future. I also spoke with CEOs and executives from the Pressburg Mint, Mint 21, Agoro, the Lithuanian Mint, CIT, PowerCoin and many more. They were really generous with their time and information and insight, and I have a much greater appreciation for what they're doing in a very, very difficult time. Everyone was a pleasure to be with and to get to know. Hello if you're watching this video. I've created a playlist of videos from the fair for you to go and binge on after this. There's an excellent interview with Josh Fair of the Scottsdale Mint by Bald Guy Money. I wish I had met Josh. I really appreciate the things he's got to say. And there's also an interesting three-way chat between Bald Guy Money, Cobra Stacker and Backyard Bullion. So those videos were going to be in the playlist. I'm sure there's going to be more videos come out after I've recorded this video, and I'll be sure to keep on adding them to the playlist. Overall, this was a fantastic experience for my first World Money Fair. I do plan to go again next year, and I look to build on the relationships I've formed in the meantime. I hope you've enjoyed this look at this year's World Money Fair. I may try and go and get a media pass and do interviews next time, now that I know the lay of the land and what to expect. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you've got any questions about the fair. Give this video a thumbs up and a hype to tell YouTube to show this video to more stackers like you. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.